Hello and welcome to the Fit and Free podcast. This is a podcast for women who want it all, to feel strong and confident in their bodies, as well as enjoying a sneaky mug on a Friday night. I'm an exercise physiologist and sports nutritionist, here to teach you how to achieve your body goals without food and your body controlling your life. So let's jump in. Hello you guys and welcome back to another ep of the Fit and Free podcast. I've got a juicy, good episode for you, and I really think it's going to help so many people in terms of bring into their awareness of why they are not seeing a result in their body composition. But first, I just want to give you a little bit of an update on, last week I need to tell you about, I just made one of the biggest investments in my business, and it's a little bit fucking terrifying, to be completely honest, because I'm not going to tell you exactly how much the investment was, but let's just say that I could have bought a car. It is a very significant investment to work with a new a business coach, and in the moment going through the process of making the purchase decision, I'm to a point now where I am always just thinking about what I want in my life and what I really want to achieve. And for me, I know personally that where I'm at right now, I don't have the knowledge and I don't have the skills in order for me to get where I need to be. So this is how I always anchor back into my decision-making process in terms of how I'm going to invest my money, because I have goals and I've got a big dream and I'm going to make that fucking happen. But I know to where I am right now, the skills and knowledge and all the things is I don't know how to get there. So that's why I always investing in myself and investing in my business and investing in my health, my nutrition and all the things, because I know I can get there 10 times faster when I am following the guidance of someone who knows what they're talking about. And this is why I will always invest in myself to close the gap, to fast track my own results and get to my ultimate freedom, happiness, and all the things that I'm working towards a hell of a lot faster. And I remember a time when I first got into investing in myself and honestly working with my first ever nutrition coach is in that point in time, I was terrified to invest in myself. I had all the story. I was oh my God, I don't need help. I can do this myself. Oh my God, I've been working in this industry. I don't need someone to help me with it. I had so much ego around to asking for help, because for one, I had a really strong belief that if I asked for help, if I couldn't do something alone, that meant I was weak. That meant I was dumb. That meant that I didn't know what I was doing. So it held me back from actually getting the help and the support that I needed. And I struggled with this for a really long time. But then I remember when I got to rock bottom, and I hate how it took me to get to rock bottom in order to make the move and to invest in myself, because I had been struggling with it for 25 years basically. But yeah, I got to a point where I literally couldn't handle it anymore. So my point of call was desperation and help, get me out of here, instead of from being a really empowered place and being able to make a decision based off what I truly wanted to get. And now I can see the difference between when I invest in myself from a place of I know where I want to go and I want to get there and I just don't know how, so I need help to get there and then close the gap, versus desperation, holy shit, I can't live my life, I can't enjoy my holidays, I can't enjoy my social life, I can't enjoy anything, I need help, is the place I was investing from. And when I was in that space, when it was also more I need this, I have to have this, then there was a lot of fear that got created in that feeling. So it was hard for me to let my barriers down, be vulnerable and open myself up to somebody else to help me. But when I did that, holy fuck, my world changed. And not only did I actually achieve a body composition goal, but I got my life back. I was able to enjoy holidays. I was booking all of these holidays, and because I thought that was going to make me happy, but I would go away and I couldn't enjoy the holiday because I was just thinking about food all the time. And like I could finally enjoy time with my friends, like actually go out for food. And I'm a massive foodie. Like I fucking love a good margie, chili marg, and a really nice boozy lunch or a dinner out, and like booking these things. But I was like, I can't even enjoy it. Like I can't even be present in these situations because I'm just so fixated on the calories, on doing my progress and all the food. So it's like, what's the point? What's the point of doing all this, spending all this money on things that you think are going to make you happy, but at the same time, you're so internally fixated on the calories and your body and how it's undoing your progress and all the things. So like, I know investing in yourself is such a, I don't know. I really feel like we need to normalize this conversation because it's like the benefits of working with someone, number one, who knows what they're talking about and is actually going to help you and give you a step-by-step process on how to get there is like something in itself. But then like the benefits and ripple effect what that has then on your life is like, it's indescribable. It's life-changing. And that's why from like, since, you know, graduating my degree, like I've always prioritized my own personal development, working with coaches. Like I've spent thousands of dollars now. I don't even like kind of like, you don't even want to know how much money I've spent on personal development. But the reason why I keep doing it is because like it has made me more money. It has given me more time. I have way more freedom. And this whole thing against like, you know, instant gratification versus, actual growth and delayed gratification. It's like, you know, like a new pair of jeans, it makes you feel good for like 2 weeks, but then when you get over that newness feeling, that dopamine hit is gone, then you need to get that, you know, that new dopamine hit feeling with a new thing to spend more money on something else. And like it's that cycle of just like spending all this money on these constant little dopamine hits versus actually like investing from a place of like that's more in alignment with your actual values and actually growing as a person and, you know, learning to love yourself more from a deeper level, like increasing your sense of self-worth, increasing your internal confidence, learning on who you are and accepting you as that amazing and that being your superpower and like, you know, moving through all of your fears that you have and maybe like, you know, working through past traumas and processing that and all of the things. It's like that is the stuff that actually gives you prolonged happiness. That actually can help you be more confident and have, you know, better self-esteem and overall a happiness and freedom that it stays there. It doesn't go away after the two week hit of the new jeans feeling. And I speak to this because I've done both. I tried to get a happiness through, you know, these quick fixes of going on these holidays or buying these new clothes or getting my nails done and all the things. But that I just feel like that was a bit of a band-aid fix for the real shit that I had to work through in my mindset and ultimately building skills with nutrition, exercise first of all, and then now moving into business, like building skills in business as well, like marketing, sales, copywriting, all of the things there. It's like that in itself, like learning all these things has then given me the opportunities to travel the world and actually be free when I'm traveling, right? Enjoy the food, enjoy the experience and not being so fixated on the little shit that doesn't actually matter. All because like I took the risk, quote unquote. I don't like saying that it's a risk, but of course, in the moment, it always feels like a risk because what if like it doesn't work? What if it goes wrong? So like, yeah, it took the risk and honestly, like it's paid off every single fucking time. And that's why I'm like investing in myself is just a bare minimum. Like I put money aside for my own personal development because of the overall, the happiness, the freedom, like I already said, of what it's given me. So that's a little bit of an insight into my life at the moment because I just made that investment. It's very raw, it's very real at the moment, but I just wanted to, you know, like I just really want to normalize the conversation of like investing in ourselves is like a fuck yes. Like let's, you know, let's start talking about personal development more. Let's start talking about like, you know, healing our shit, letting go of our past selves and really anchoring in and accepting ourselves and really building ourselves up from the inside out to ultimately have this inner oozing confidence and happiness and all the things. So I want to know how you guys feel about that. Send me a DM on Instagram how you guys feel about investing in yourselves and where you're at with it. And if you've done it before or if you haven't, like I want to know because like you see it all the time. Like Alex Hormozi is the perfect example of that. And if you guys don't know who he is, are you living under a rock? No, I'm joking. But he's just boomed on social media and he's, you know, quickly becoming one of the most influential people in the business space. So totally get it if you actually don't know who he is. And he is always talking about, like, you are your greatest return on investment. Your knowledge, your skills, the more that you invest in yourself, the more you put in the time, the energy to learn how the things that you need to do in order to get where you want to be, then your life is going to be so much more fulfilled. You're going to be more happy. You're going to have more success. You're going to have more money, and you're going to have more freedom. And he is always talking about that. He's always talking about pushing yourself outside of your comfort zone, overcoming fear, and most importantly, investing in yourself and your own growth because of the benefits that come with that. So I love him and I look up to him a lot in terms of his mindset, because I think there's a lot of lessons that we can take away in from that. So yeah, I just wanted to give you an update on what's going on. But now I want to jump into the episode, because I know there are so many people out there who is putting in so much freaking effort with their exercise, yet they don't look like they work out. And I want to chat to that topic today, and I want to explain why this happens and what you guys actually need to do to get the most out of your exercise routine. Because honestly, this is the biggest mistake that I see skinny fat people make, is they are showing up daily with their exercise. They're super consistent. And like their biggest thing is they're focusing on being really sweaty. They're focusing on how many calories they can burn, and they feel really guilty if they have a rest day. They're under this mentality that more is better. No pain, no gain. And like, I fully see that and understand why people think that way. It's because like you scroll on social media literally, and it's always about do this fat burning exercise, walk on the incline treadmill, or do this Stairmaster protocol for fat loss. So I can understand why people get really, really confused in and around this. And then I can see why people think that they need to, you know, burn all these calories in order to be successful with their body composition goals. Now, first of all, we just have to speak to, like, if your goal is like to feel really good, it's to move your body and exercise for the health benefits, then yes, I love this for you. Then going in and just moving your body, doing whatever, doing random workouts, absolutely so there for you, so here for that. Because like, as an exercise physiologist, like I know how important movement is for health for so many reasons, like physical body and emotional body. And if that is your goal, then like, yeah, show up, do the movement that makes you feel amazing. Love that for you. However, if you have a body composition goal, like you want to build your glutes, you want a perky butt, you want toned arms, legs, and a snatched waist, then you need to be making sure that you're doing the right type of exercise so that your body composition looks a certain way. And this is the mistake that people make, is like what I already spoke to, it's burning the calories. But the biggest mistake in all of it is not having structure to your workouts. And what I mean by this is that if you're going on social media and you're looking at your favorite influencers page and they said do this lower body workout, you go in and you do that, then maybe the next day you'll find something else to do and you'll follow that, and then maybe you do a YouTube video on Thursday, right? And then maybe you go do a gym class on Friday. Like, this is amazing if you want to just feel good, absolutely. If you want to increase, like if you want to get the feel good benefits of exercise, then this is fantastic. But if you have a body composition goal, like grow on your glutes, all the things, then this is the reason why you're probably not getting it. Because like I see it all the time, is people are like, you know, they're focusing on burning calories, they're focusing on cardio, they're exercising every day, and they come to me and they're like, Laura, like I love to exercise. I'm so consistent with it. I think nutrition is my downfall. Like I just struggle with what to eat. And well, yes, there is some truth to that, because a lot of people definitely are, under eating protein, under eating carbohydrate, and not fueling their body adequately. Like there's definitely truth into that. But then when I go in and questioning them around their exercise routine, they're like, yeah, I'm exercising every day. I'm doing HIIT classes. I do Pilates. Like I'm so consistent, but I'm not seeing the result. And then I'm like, well, your exercise routine is half of the freaking equation if you want a toned body. And a lot of people still don't get that. A lot of people still think it's nutrition. But guys, what you need to know, it's both. It's both. You need to have your nutrition on point and you need to have structure to your workout. If you want to change the composition, you want to build some muscle in your booty, your arms, abs, all the things, you need to have structure to your workouts as well. Because like going back into the influencer conversation and getting a workout from those people, it's like, you know, they put a workout up on their page and it's like that workout didn't necessarily give them the body that they currently have. And what I want to use as a bit of an example is Sarah's Day. If you don't know who she is a very well-known fitness influencer. She's a YouTuber and she has 3 or whatever, how many ebooks that she sells, and they're like sweaty shredders. And these workouts are really based off like high intensity, getting really sweaty to get shredded. And like those workouts are like really high intensity. There's like burpees, jump squats, like all the things that she loves to do. Right. And then like, so she's selling these high intensity ebooks and like, you know, her marketing strategy is like really smart because like, you know, she's quite small, she's petite and like, she's like quote unquote got a toned body. So like, you know, she's putting up the photos of her and what her body looks like. And then she's like, buy my exercise program, obviously with the, you know, the marketing strategy of like, oh, if you do this, then you're going to look like me. And then, so what I see is like, you know, people at home are just following these high intensity interval 30-minute workouts and they're expecting to tone their body. But like the thing is that like Sarah's Day didn't get her body composition by doing just those workouts. And I think that's a missing piece that like so many people are not getting, because like if you actually look at her exercise routine from like her lifespan, because she's actually shared a lot of it, is she has done a fair bit of weightlifting, like lifting weights. Like I've seen her do her, you know, on, I think it was on a Monday, she was always doing her lower body weights lifting session, paired with her high intensity workouts to actually get the tone and shape to her body. Because like at the end of the day, it's like what you have to realize is that, you know, a HIIT exercise session, like sure, it's going to make you sweaty and it's going to make you burn a lot of calories, but what is it using? It's using your cardiovascular system. It's using your heart is pumping, and you being out of breath is the reason why that you need to stop. Like a burpee, for example, and jumping up and down, like that is working your cardiovascular system. Well, yes, it's amazing. Like I'm so here for, you know, cardio is so good for your health, don't get me wrong. However, like if you're doing it and expecting to walk away with like more tone in your glutes and in your body, then it's actually the wrong type of exercise in order to be doing. Because in order to tone, you need to be toning and sculpting and shaping your muscles. And like being out of breath from a burpee is not using your muscles. It's using your heart. Like obviously it's an overall, like every part of your body is moving and working, but it's not your muscles that are reaching close to failure. You got to think about it. Like, how do you get more fit? You know, you get better at your burpees, for example, or like if you actually train smarter, you work on like taking a marathon, for example, like you work at different heart rate zones and you stagger your runs. So you're running long distances, short distances, and you're doing intervals to overall increase your cardiovascular endurance, right? Like you're working your heart more. Then, so when it comes to changing and toning your body, like you're working your heart, but you're expecting your muscles to change, right? So it's the same. If you want your muscles to change, you have to work them and get better at that over time. So what does that mean? That means you've got to be lifting weights. You've got to be working your muscles against a resistance to ultimately break them down so that they can build back up and actually grow bigger so that you have that look of being more toned. So that's it. Like you're not going to grow your glutes by doing like single leg glute bridges and getting like a pump on in Pilates, because while getting a pump on gives you the illusion that you're changing your body composition, like getting that burn on, it's not actually the burn that actually is going to change and sculpt your body. The way that you change and sculpt your body is through progressive overload. And what that means is that getting stronger at your lifts every single week so that your body ultimately is working hard enough and then is adapting. And then because like your body has adapted, then you've got to put a new stimulus on the body that has adapted to then work it harder again. Like if you're just going in and doing either something different every time, or you're just going in and doing a class and like doing more or less the same routine, there's actually no improvement. Like there's no new stimulus on the body to then give it a reason to then adapt again. Okay. So when it comes to changing your body composition, what you guys know now is doing random workouts and lack of structure is like literally the biggest mistake you can make. And I want to explain why through a scientific lens to really, really break this down and solidify why you need to have structure to your workouts if you have a certain body composition goal. So number one is, first of all, you're not hitting your muscle groups with enough volume. So like I've already explained to you, like doing your burpees and all the things, like it's working your cardiovascular system and not your muscle group. So I've already spoken to that piece. But then I just wanted to speak to this in a little bit further in terms of how you actually go about changing your body composition. So number one, obviously, like you're not even training the right body system, right? So we're not getting our muscles if we're doing cardio. And then secondly, like a really important thing when it comes to training is that we need to be hitting each muscle group twice a week. So this is the problem I see with a lot of people then also like either doing random workouts or trying to write their own workouts, is that a lot of the things that people are doing, they're doing like bro splits. So they'll do shoulders and arms on one day, chest on one day, back on another day, abs on one day, and however they structure it in that bro split. So while like a bro split is actually, it's good for someone who is quite well advanced in their training and actually knows how to train at the right intensities and hit each muscle group. It's also good more so maybe for a bodybuilder who want to have more specific muscles they need to grow in order to enhance that particular body part that they need to work on. Maybe, you know, a bodybuilder got the feedback that their rear delts weren't developed enough. So having some really isolated work for them is like perfect for those type of people. However, if your goal is just to grow your glutes a little bit, snatch your waist, tone up your body, then that style of training is not optimal. What you're looking for is you need to be hitting each muscle group twice a week to making sure that you're giving it enough volume through the muscles to give it a reason to change. So what this looks like is, for a lot of people, what I personally like to do is I actually like to start with a full body workout. The reason being is because like in your full body workout, you've got 5 different exercises, sometimes maybe 6, where we can really spread it out to every part of your body. We've got a push, we've got a pull, so we've got chest, shoulders, back. Then we've got like a squat variation that's going to get all of our lower body, glutes, hamstrings, quads, calves. Then we've got a hip thrust variation that's really going to focus more so on the glutes. Then we have also an ab exercise, and we also maybe have an abduction exercise. So our side glutes as well as our glute max, right? So if we go in with those 6 exercises, every single exercise we do, we're going to be able to come in really fresh and smash that body part, and we can then distribute that over the week. That way we can train at a really good intensity for that muscle group and then give it enough time to recover, because you're only hitting it hard with one exercise. Then because you're only hitting it hard once every single day that you go in, you're going to be well recovered so that you continue training at that higher intensity. Then, of course, because you've got the volume and then you've got the frequency as well, is then because you're hitting it more than once a week, it's also going to help develop those muscles as well. So that's why it's important to incorporate volume and frequency in our training. And that's why having random workouts is not going to give you the enough volume on each muscle group and the frequency of training of each muscle group that you need to develop it in order to grow and tone up your body. The next problem is that it goes again hand in hand with like you're training a cardiovascular system and you're not your muscle group, not your muscles. So therefore, like when you're doing these random workouts, you're not training at the right intensity that you need in order to change your body composition. and this is something I see done so poorly all the freaking time now, is because people think that going in and lifting light loads and high reps because it's toning, I'm doing this toning exercise, but like toning is not an action. Toning is a look. So just because you're doing this toning exercise doesn't mean you're going to get a toned body. What a toned body means is having muscle and then having a low enough body fat percentage to see it. And if you're not focusing on building muscle with the right type of exercise at the right intensity with enough volume, then you're not going to achieve that look. So this is something that I'm always pushing my girls to do, is really reflect on like, are you actually training at the right intensity? And when I mean by that, it's like, we like to periodize the training across a month. So like, week 1 is a deload week, 6 out of 10, building up to a 9 out of 10 at the end of the month. And like 8, 9 out of 10, like that's fucking hard. And if you still think cardio is harder than strength training, then you're probably not strength training hard enough. And this is, I see it all the time, as people are like, oh, I don't like strength training. Like it doesn't give me the same burn as doing a cardio session. I'm like, babes, you're not lifting heavy enough. You're not pushing yourself hard enough, because when you start pushing yourself hard enough, strength training is freaking hard. So what does this look like? So training at the right intensities, let's say like an 8 out of 10, it's like, on your last reps of your set, like let's use a squat, for example, your reps slow down because it's hard. Right? And that's when you know that you are training at better intensities, because the speed of your actual reps will slow down. And it is an art, and it is something that you get better at. And of course, there's a correlation between your technique and how hard you can train. Like at the beginning when you're strength training, I remember like you can't push yourself as hard, because at the start, you're still learning the skill. Like you're learning how to squat, you're learning how to deadlift, you're learning how to bench press. So it's like, I like to call it like, it is a bit of an exponential curve. Like it's a bit of a slow learning process, but then once you get it and you can start pushing yourself harder and harder, is really when you really start to see some amazing results. So of course you have to go through the learning phase. Everybody does. So that in itself is a bit of a process, but that's why you guys have to be aware that it's like, it's not a quick fix thing. This is not something that you do for 12 weeks. Like this is something now that you do like ultimately for your rest of your life. Quick side note, I was watching the news yesterday and I saw this guy on TV and he was 95 years old and he was in the gym lifting weights, and I was like, that's going to be me, and I'm excited about it. Because now this is how I look at this stuff now. Like this is something I'm going to be doing for the rest of my life, and that makes me so excited. Sorry, I digress there, but just bring back the importance of making sure that you're training your actual muscles at the right intensity. And a lot of the time I see people are not getting results because they're not lifting heavy enough. And then the last thing that I want to speak to, and I already mentioned it, and it's so important, is to making sure that you're progressing over time. And what I mean by that, it's like either your 1 rep max or your 3 rep max or your 5 rep max. Like you want to be seeing that progressing over time. And that's how I like to measure it, is to watch people's like 3 RMs, 5 RMs, and to compare that from like a strength training block to a strength training block that they'll do like in 5 months time, or however long in between your strength blocks, is to making sure that you are seeing that increase. Because like day to day, when you're focusing on, program to program, it's hard to see that you're actually like progressing overall, because, so many exercises change. Of course, you can see it in week to week in each program. You can really see the progression there, but long-term progression, like it's important to monitor, like, is your hip thrust actually improving? Like, is the amount of pull-ups, is that improving? Is your squat, your deadlift, all the things, is that improving? And to keep an eye on that, overall is important, because like day to day when you're in it, sometimes you just feel like you're kind of grinding a bit and you're strength training and all the things. And then you're like, you don't really feel like that you're progressing all that much. And then all of a sudden there'll be one day where you'll be like, holy shit, like I can do this and I couldn't do that before. And it's those like small realizations that you're like, holy shit, like I am getting somewhere, I am progressing, which is such a cool feeling, and it's so fun. But that's the thing, it's like, it's, as you get more advanced with your lifting, progress isn't as quick. But then it's like just making sure that you are anchoring into those small wins and feeling like, reminding yourself that like, oh, that was easier than it was like 6-8 weeks ago, which can be really motivating as well. So wrapping that up, so that's the biggest thing, like with random workouts, right? It's like you're not getting better at anything. You're not increasing your skill at the lift, like you're not getting better at the actual technique of the deadlift, you're not getting better at the squat. There's no progression there. And there's also therefore no progression with actually lifting heavier. And that is the key to changing your body composition, is progressive overload. And it really is, because it ultimately what happens is that, to build muscle, your body has to adapt, and then it has to have a new stimulus to break that down, so then it can adapt again. And without that consistent same thing over and over and over again, then that process doesn't happen. So therefore, people are not seeing tone and shape and muscle on their body, and ultimately that's the thing that gives you the toned look. Because at the end of the day, like, you can't spot reduce fat, but you can build muscle in certain areas and then drop your overall body fat so that you look more toned in that specific area. So like, you can grow muscle on your glutes, right? And then if you want to drop a little bit of fat in and around it, like drop your overall body fat percentage, then you absolutely can. It's the same for any body part. Like, if you want to get abs, you have to build up the muscle with progressive overload, lifting weights, hitting it twice a week, training at the right intensity, the things that I said, and then have a low enough body fat percentage to see it. Goes for any muscle group, whether you want to have toned arms, shoulders, anything, glutes, legs, like, you got to have muscle there, and then the body fat percentage. And that's what I spoke to a lot in my last episode that I spoke to in terms of like what I'm doing at the moment is like, people have the equation of like the nutrition, like, you can drop fat pretty easy, especially if you know how to do it, just restrict. Obviously I don't promote that because that's not a sustainable way, but what I'm saying is people like understand the fat loss equation part, but people don't understand the building part, and that's where a lot of people are getting caught up in with their body. So I really hope that this brought into your awareness that it actually could be your exercise routine as well as your nutrition, or it might just be your exercise routine and your lack of structure to your training. That could be one of the biggest downfalls. Because like, you see it all the time. People are consistent with F45, Fit Stop, group fitness classes, all of the things. And yet they're still not seeing the result in their body. So this definitely could be, I would love to know what you guys think. Maybe it is your exercise routine that you need to sharpen up a little bit and making sure that it is in alignment with your goals. If you don't have a specific goal and you're just doing it for health, love that for you. Keep on going. so supportive of that. But I really hope that this really shed some light on some things that you could work on and improve. So let me know what you think about this episode. Send me a DM. I'd love to hear from you guys. And until next time, I will see you in the next episode. Bye. The number one challenge that all my clients face before we start working together is a lack of clarity on how much and what to eat to lose weight. Often they are making two huge mistakes: constantly trying to skip meals or eat under 1,600 calories. Secondly, only allowing themselves bad foods like chocolate on the weekend, but end up binging, all to tell themselves they're going to start again on Monday. If you feel like you have tried every diet under the sun and still can't figure out what to eat to achieve your weight loss goals, take my free 2-minute quiz. You can find the link in the show notes down below. And it will help you figure out exactly what you're doing wrong with your nutrition and exercise, and exactly what to do to fix it, so that you can finally be confident in your body and achieve your weight loss goals.